I am so excited. I've seen a rough cut of the film, but I haven't seen it in all of its glory. So I'm going to watch tonight for the first time. And Dan said the sound is really good in this theater. He's very excited, so I am too.
It is unreal. The crowd outside is pretty crazy. London's been treating me very well. It's my first time here. So yeah, man, I'm excited. I just can't wait for everyone to watch.
It's been about 3 years in the making, and I am so ready for people to finally see the special stuff that we've been cooking up.
We're sort of trying to break new ground here with this Predator film. We have the Predator, who's actually the hero this time. Usually he's the monster, he's the bad guy, and we're rooting for him. Plus we have him teaming up with others, trying to battle the unkillable creature on the planet Geddon.
Well, I have two parts. I have dual roles, but the one you see mostly on the poster, that's 𝘧𝘢𝘢𝘁, and she is 𝘴𝘤𝘦𝘁𝘍 synth from the Alien universe. And she is quite fun. This is set in the future, the furthest future we've seen in the alien world. So she's the most kind of advanced synth that we've seen so far, which means she has very high emotions. They're the most kind of human-like so far that we've seen. So she has a very spunky personality and a lot of emotions and a lot of personality. And then I play another part, Tessa, who's quite different. So I got to do the Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap, acting with myself, which is a bucket list for me, for sure.
He is a different kind of predator. He's a bit undersized, kind of considered the runt of the litter, but I think what Dan's done really well with this film is taking a story that hasn't really been told, predator in a protagonist role as well, and making people root for the predator. That's something that really doesn't happen.
There's a lot in this movie that shares the DNA of the original, but there is so much more. It is a totally different genre. It is big action and adventure, and kind of a buddy comedy in the midst, and more action than any entry in the franchise, and I've done quite a few of them, but this is mostly one giant action scene.
Oh my gosh, it's so special, It's, I think, also what Dan has done with this franchise is so fresh and new, and I was such a fan of Prey, and so I'm really happy to be a part of it, and obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger and I have pins from other previous Predator films on my leather jacket tonight. But it's really special, especially with Badlands, because it's a new take on it. You know, the Predator is the protagonist, and you really get to hear the history and the lore of him, and he becomes a character that you're actually rooting for, which has never happened in this franchise before. So I'm happy to be a part of that.
It's an unlikely relationship, I'll be honest. I think it's the first time, one of the first times you see a Predator team up with anything, really. Their whole mantra is 𝘭𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢𝘢 little bit of, he uses her as a tool, essentially, to get through this death planet called 𝘧𝘢𝘕. And over the course of the film, you see how their relationship kind of changes, the dynamic. Because I don't want to say too much, but yeah, it's an unlikely ally.
Dimitrius brought something to this franchise that has never happened before. He brought an emotionality to it. He brought soul to the monster and a physicality that we've never had. We've never really been able to do the kind of stunt work in the suit, the physicality, because of the nature of the height and the practical head and mask features that we were free of this time. It allowed him to really kick ass.
There were a lot, probably more than I've ever had before on a film set. There was a lot of training. I mean, what's so amazing about these films is that it's all done practically, pretty much. I mean, of course there's visual effects, but like when I'm the backpack and I'm with Dimitrius back to back, we are physically hooked up with wires and we're flying through the air together, and we are, there's a wheelbarrow that he pushes me up a hill, and we were really in New Zealand on these amazing sets, so things were tangible, but we did have to do training for that. A lot of rigs and action sequences, but I loved that challenge.
The physical challenges, let me tell you, it was physically tough. Just being in a prosthetic suit the whole time, you're constantly sweating. Had to wear contacts. It blurred my vision, restricted my movement being in it. But I think it all just added a bit more authenticity to the character. That's something that I think the Predator franchise prides itself on, is that they use practical effects. All these 20 years, it's a real person in the suit. It's I think it just adds that extra element of realism, and that audiences and fans really enjoy.
Elle is as delightful as you would imagine. Really tremendous performer that had a physicality that I was not expecting. I sensed that she would be charming and funny in the role, but there were a lot of physical demands, and from action sequence standpoint, but also even just things because of the nature of her being this very specific synthetic, severed in half, that you think we would need special effects to accomplish or visual effects to accomplish. Oftentimes she could just hold her body in a certain way to make us believe in the movie magic.
Oh, she's amazing. She's so down to earth, so humble, very kind, and she just knows what she's doing. She's such a good energy to have on the set. She comes to work every day, keen to get amongst it, and she had some really hard days on set as well. She had to wear a harness. She did it with a smile, did it so gracefully, and she's awesome.
It was pretty extensive designing 𝘧𝘢𝘕. We actually started doing some concept art for the movie before we even wrote the script, and there was an initial piece of concept art that it was like spiky snow, and that actually informed one of the main features of the planet, which is the razor grass. But that was a huge part of the movie, was designing a planet that would be as deadly as the creatures were. And so everything here is trying to kill Deck, from the blades of grass to the trees to all the creatures that inhabit it. Deck and Thea are the central force of the movie, and Deck is kind of the strong, silent type. He's if it were a Western, it'd be Clint Eastwood, and Thea cannot stop talking and is a robot that's been severed in half, and yet still sees the positivity and cannot be stopped no matter what crazy things are thrown at them.
Audiences can expect some drama, some action. They can expect man, everything. This film has so much to offer and unpack, and I think audiences, honestly, they're just gonna go in and I think be very surprised with what we've come up with. It's a very different Predator movie, very different premise. So yeah, I think they'll really enjoy it.
Audiences can expect a real full course meal filled with stress and anxiety and action and laughs and a little bit of heart too. I really hope that people are exhausted walking out of the movie.